I believe that this is the time to educate people to really be successful in crypto. How to become the crypto literacy? How to get the knowledge in the crypto? How to select the projects, right? How to not become the victim of the scam? How to earn? What are the risks? What are the potential of being into crypto? So that's a very important thing for us.
Welcome to Limitless, a SourceLess podcast, the place for endless opportunity and limitless discussions. Today I have a very special guest. I'm talking about Kyrylo Khomiakov. He's the general manager for Central and Eastern Europe at Binance. So without further ado, hello Kyrylo, how are you today?
Hi, Adrian. Thanks for having me. I'm great.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you, and I really want to talk about so much things with you, but let's start with the beginning. First of all, who is Kyrylo? Because we can talk about business all day long, but I want to know who is the person behind the businessman. I want to know maybe what are your hobbies, what do you like doing, and who are you besides and behind the cameras, let's say it like that.
That's a good question. Yes, thanks. So I'm Ukrainian. I'm a family man. I'm having 3 lovely kids that are school age, and I think I'm effective executor on my work. And I currently work on Binance, and I'm responsible for the Central and Eastern Europe, a couple of other European countries, and also Ukraine. That's me.
And what drives you to get out of bed every day? What's your motivation? And what do you like doing besides business?
So I love my work, and my work is such in the development of Binance and continuing our growth, service our users, giving them the products that we need, winning the competition and growing the business is the best motivation for me. So my other interests are my family, obviously. I try to spend as much time with kids and my wife as possible. We travel a lot. We have a hobby with my son. We both love football. So we play football and we watch football and we bet on different games between ourselves. My girls, they're dancing and they're playing piano. So I'm always walking with them and seeing all their concerts and support them as much as I can. My wife, she's a full Iron Man. So she's like a lot into the sports, and she's trying to bring me into the sports too, which is not working quite well for right now because I don't have too much time, but I'm trying to, catch up and not be too far away from her. So that's my
well, it's a very important thing to get that work-life balance, and it seems like you achieved it. But also I wanted to ask you, do you teach your kids about business, about finance, about blockchain, or are you trying to drive them on this path of the business path, maybe to your path, because you have a very great background that we will cover in just a minute?
Not yet, because they are not quite there in terms of their age. So my girls, twins, they are in the grade 3, and my son, he's in the grade 6. So he has selected the sports career. He's playing for a football team. But me as the father, I'm trying to give them the most important thing I can give them, which is English. So that it opens the door for them in everywhere they want in their life. So with my son, since he was age of 10, I switched only in English. So despite he speaking in Russian or Ukrainian with the friends and family, me and him only in English. I'm preparing the girls to this too, so that when they're 10, I'm starting to speaking with them in English. So as you can see, my English is not great, but at least in terms of the practicing it and having English as the spoken language, this will give them a lot of the things. So that's it for the moment. But as soon as they will grow older, I will also, explain them what is blockchain, how is blockchain operating, what are the risks, potential, etc.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about discovering, and I really think that if a child is not interested in something, you don't really need to force him to do something. And that's a very important thing. But also you mentioned, and we all know that you are Ukrainian. So I want to ask, if I may, how do you see all the discussions between the Russia and Ukraine, and how did you manage to get back to Romania, and how did you manage to travel a lot, because you have a very important role that you need to play in Binance.
So I wouldn't call it a discussion between Ukraine and Russia. So basically Russia has attacked Ukraine and we're basically in the war situation, which is very unfortunate for our country. But I'm sure that this war will be finished anytime soon as possible, and we will be able to recover our territories, etc. And there is, as you said, that there is a martial law that's currently working in Ukraine, so the men cannot leave the country. But there are exceptions, and having 3 kids or more is the official exception. So I can go out and come back to Ukraine as much as I need, because according to the law, I'm not a part of this martial law. So that's why my kids is finally giving back to me, at least for giving me the ability to travel, but still support Ukraine and be able to help developing the whole region.
So they're a blessing from every kind of point of view. They're definitely a blessing, and I'm glad to hear that everything's okay on your side. As I said earlier, I want to cover a little bit your background as well. So
sure.
You started in retail banking in 2005, then we switched to technology in 2012. You gained experience and, most important, knowledge in various positions, from sales director to head of processes division, and in 2019 you became the chief executive officer for the State Agency of Infrastructure Projects for Ukraine. After that, after all this work and all this knowledge, in 2022 you came to Binance and you got the role that you have right now. So the question here is, what drove you to crypto? How did you get into crypto? What do you think about crypto and blockchain? Because the financial part of crypto, it's a very different thing from the blockchain part. And after all these experiences, how did you get to Binance and why?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And I'm not one of the early adopters. I'm not an OG and I'm not that long in crypto, unfortunately, right? So I'm just a couple of years really into crypto. And as you said, my work experience can be split into 3 parts. Like it was banking, so this was the first part of my career. The second one was fintech, and then there was the government work for 2 years. So basically the last part of my fintech work, I was working in London. And then when the new president Zelensky came into the power in 2019, he said that there's going to be like a new ways of doing things. You need to come back, people from the business, you need to support the country. So that's where I applied for this government job, and actually gone through the very long competition and won this competition for the couple of the like high positions within the government, and won this one that was like a deputy minister of infrastructure, responsible for the agency of infrastructural projects, so building all these big things in the country. So that's basically was my 3 pillars, and then I was starting to get into the crypto. I was very interesting personally, and I started to discover this and learn for a couple of years. And then when I finished my government work, I started being as the CEO as the one small local exchange. And then the Binance appeared, and it was like a long list of the participants. I think it was like 1,000 applicants for this job. And at this time, I think that Binance was looking exactly at the 3 pillars of experience that I was having. So they were looking for someone who understands how to build the business locally in Ukraine for international company, what I was doing previously, the fintech, obviously, and the banking, and speaking the same language with government officials, having the connection with existing governments and regulators. And I think that the 3 things I was having. So that's why they selected me through the like a lengthy approval interviews process, etc. And then I started as the general manager in Ukraine back in January 2021. And then basically we did great with our team, and I was promoted now a couple of times. Yeah, and I'm doing the same, but in the wider scope of the countries now.
Yeah, it's if you believe in this kind of stuff, it's the law of attraction. If you can use it properly, it will get you where you want to be, and that's all about decisions. Because you went into fintech, you went into banking. Maybe it's like the butterfly effect. A very small thing can change your whole life on the long run. It's a marathon, not a sprint, after all, and that's why I want to ask you. We're not talking about regrets, because we all did something that maybe we could have done differently. But I want to ask you, if you could speak right now to your younger self, what would you tell yourself in order to do things better? But also, as I said earlier, maybe if you've done something different, you wouldn't be here today. So we can do it like this. Tell me, what would you tell your younger self, and what can you tell for the younger generation that right now it's coming, and they're always on the run. They all want to be entrepreneurs, and they don't want to work for somebody anymore, and they think and they know, they believe that they can change the whole world from its ground.
Yeah, I think I would just tell to myself just 3 simple words: go buy Bitcoin.
Okay.
And that's it, really. And that's why that's how I would not be here, right? But I will be somewhere in the Bahamas or whatever. Yeah. So, jokes aside, I would really push myself more for the education. When I was growing up, I was hungry for career, for getting money, to be able to invite the girls in the restaurants, clubs. This was my only motivation. But if I can go back there, and if I can educate myself again, I would be much more motivated and, doing much more in this space. I would really learn much harder, even though I would delay starting my work, because I started working from the 3rd grade of the university because I needed money. So yeah. So I would really bet on the education more. This basic education, that's very important, I think.
And what do you think about, okay, let's talk a little about education, because it's a very important topic. For example, in Romania, 90% of the country's population is financially illiterate. That means they're not just living from paycheck to paycheck, but they don't have a safe fund. They don't invest. I was reading a statistic a few days ago that only 0.5% of the monthly income is going to investments. If we look at our medium wage in Romania, that would be like 30 lei, something like that, like 6 euros. But if we're talking about alcohol and cigarettes, like 4.5% of your income is going that way in Romania. So do you believe more in traditional education, like go to school, then go to college, get a job, or do you believe more in self-teaching, like go and discover what do you like doing, buy courses, go talk to some people that can maybe help you, find a mentor? What do you think is the balance here? Because looking at the Z generation, like people that are now 20 something years, they don't have the patience to stay in school. And to be honest with you, in Romania, for example, school is not teaching you what you need to know. It's not teaching financial education. It does not teach you how to deal with the world around you, how to navigate this financial jungle that we live in, because the Wild West, as many people call the crypto sector, it's the same financial system that we have for 100-200 years. So how do you see education?
So it's just not just Romania, unfortunately, right? It's everywhere, and even in the top in the countries with the top quality education, there is no self-learning, financial literacy, how you save. So for me, the eye-opener was when I read this book of the Kiyosaki, the Rich Father, Poor Father. So it was like but it was like a little bit too late for me. I was 30 something when I read this book, and I really wish that it was a part of the school program, or at least someone could advise it. It would make my life really easier, and this is just one example. So we really focus on the academic knowledge, right, and not like a practical knowledge that can help you, create wealth, but more importantly, be happy. So as I'm growing older and I'm reading a lot of books and everything, and I'm seeing my kids, I understand that actually the consciousness is shifting. I understand that it's not important if you have money, if you're rich. Much more important if you are doing what you love to do, and you are just a happy person. So I'm teaching my kids that not focus on being rich, wearing some fashion clothes or cars or anything. Just do something to be happy, and that's, I think, the secret and what we all have to focus in our lives. But definitely we are lacking this in our educational system, like a more personal education, something spiritual, something how you can be calm, how you can be healthy, right? How you can be happy, how you can be financial stable. Yeah. So I think that's the big gap in our educational system.
Yeah, and it's very important to find yourself. First of all, help yourself in order for you to help others. That's a saying. But how did you find your balance? Because now you're not a kid anymore. You're not a teenager, but definitely you're not old. So did you find that balance, the balance between the spiritual life and the material life, to call it that?
Yeah, I think I'm like a far ahead from the finding it, but I'm trying. I'm just getting there, like a samurai. There is no target; it's just a way. So I think that the spiritual part is something that I'm lagging the most, and then the balance of your career, your financial stability to support the family, the family and your personal matters, your friends, and being happy and being calm. So yeah, that's very important balance, and I'm also trying to find it. Interestingly, as the life goes by, and if you're going through the different stages, you find the different need for these parts of as we discussed, right? So when you start, you are starving for being an adult person, having the money, then you are looking for some knowledge, then you are looking for the spiritual calmness, etc., etc. So it's an interesting journey, and it's changing all the time.
Yeah. Now let's get back to crypto, because you said something about Bitcoin there, but I want to ask you something. If you were Satoshi, we don't know who he is, but if you were Satoshi, maybe you are.
There is always a chance.
But would you do something different? Do you believe in the Bitcoin story, in the story of empowering people, in the story of decentralization? Do you think it's utopic, or do you think it's achievable? Because most people don't. They want to collect the spoils of war when everything's okay, but they don't want to put the blame on themselves when something's going wrong. So what do you think about this decentralization story?
Yeah, it's a good philosophical question, really. I think that this state-of-the-art product, which is Bitcoin, created and like fully backed by the mathematics, is one of the best possible assets that was created by humanity in general, right? But it's really good in the ideal world. In the ideal world, it's the best payment method and the best assets and something that will help all the people around the world, but not in reality, right? All these corrupted governments, power governments that they want to, keep the power on their people, on some other countries. They don't want any freedom. They don't want anyone to be like equal and get all the access to everything. It's really going very hard, because I think that everyone agrees that the Bitcoin is the best more transparent, more clean.
It has everything.
It has everything, yeah, but still we are far away from the proper crypto adoption, and I think that's because like everyone has their own agenda, and all the governments, they want to their own things, but hopefully we will get there someday.
Yeah, but it's like in Marxism, you know, it's kind of a utopia, because there's a saying in Marxism, like in the morning I'm a fisherman, in the noon I'm a builder, and in the evening I'm sharing stories with my friends, so I can be whatever I want whenever I want. That's kind of the Bitcoin's ideology too, but I don't think we're going there right now. Looking at all the regulation, and all the regulation is good. It's good because you set some guidelines, and either you like it or not, we need some guidelines, but you need proper guidelines, because look at the SEC, for example. Those guidelines that they want to apply to crypto, they're going back 90 years. They're the same rules that they applied on the financial markets in 1931. So how can you regulate an emerging technology with the same rules that you regulated the oldest financial market in the world?
Yeah, so that's a tough question. Like all the world is trying to sort it out, and as you can see, all the continents and the countries have their own approach, right? And I don't think that yet we have one ideal format that can be copied by everyone else in the world. So as you say, the US, they are applying the existing old laws. Europe, for example, created the MiCA. That's kind of regulates a portion of it, but not completely. Yeah, there is a lot of other factors. Some countries are trying to do something themselves. Other countries are waiting for the bigger countries to create it. So like all the world is more or less thinking how to do it in the best way, but I don't think the ideal scenario we have seen yet.
Yeah, and obviously MiCA is just a guideline. Like, you need to follow these steps, but go for yourself. You're on your own. Regulate crypto in your own country, apply it to your own legislation, and then let us know what's happening in order for us to document it. Because we cannot find one guideline for everybody right now. But I know that Binance is the biggest crypto exchange in the world. You're the biggest name. You're the name on everybody's lips when you're talking about crypto and blockchain. So I want to talk a little bit about Binance. Right now on 8th and 9th November, we will have Binance week. We're all looking forward to it. And I know that this year's focus is empowering the community to reach 1 billion users. Everybody wants to reach 1 billion users, but think about like this: you have like 100 million users right now worldwide.
More than 150.
150. Okay, yeah. So more than 150 million users. We're still pretty far from that 1 billion. How do you want to achieve that 1 billion count for users, and what do you think are the main barriers that adoption is meeting right now?
Yeah, so that's a very good question, and basically back to the previous question, provided that every country is very different, having their own approach, having their own concerns and support for the crypto, you know, some issues and some regulations. That's like a challenge we are having as one of the biggest players in the industry, that we need to give the users the freedom of money from one side, but also comply in the various different regulations across the globe. So that's, I think, we are trying to do, is to set up the processes that will still give value to our users while full compliance with all this regulation. And it's like a very dynamic industry, and it's changing all the time. All these different regulations are happening, so we're trying to help as much as we can, because I think the concentrated knowledge that we are having in Binance, operating the biggest numbers of countries globally and being the most licensed exchange, we are trying to help every government that we can that wants to apply the regulation and jointly work to give this freedom and adoption to users. And how we get from 150 million to 1 billion users, that's only Binance, by the way, 100 million. So in total, there is more people globally that are using the crypto, is through the crypto adoption. And the crypto adoption, and where the crypto is fully legal, regulated, and supported by all the stakeholders, by regulators, by businesses, by users. So as soon as this happens, so that's the ideal scenario, where hopefully we're going to be not as much regulated as the banks to still provide some, advantages of the blockchain, but we just wanted to have all the stakeholders aligned, how we grow, how we support our users, how we protect them, and how we develop the crypto adoption. So the things, as we discussed before in the previous podcast, like traditional finance integrations, right? Regulation, education, compliance, this type of things.
And I want to talk about each and every one of the things that you mentioned earlier. Let's take it step by step. But first of all, we have all these thoughts about what's going on with Binance right now. I heard we know that Paxos will stop issuing BUSD. What does this mean for the Binance ecosystem, and what does it mean for the users? Also, as I said earlier, 8-9 November, Binance Week, what can we expect from that?
Yeah, sorry, I just switched to something else.
No problem.
So in terms of the Paxos, I don't think it's a news, right? It happened like many times, many months ago. And yeah, so BUSD will not be operational. It will fade, but something new will happen. So basically, all the customer funds were backed 1-to-1. So I think at the top, at the peak, the BUSD market share was around $18 billion. Now it's just a few $1 billion, and it will just fade, go away. But there is a lot of other like stable coins that people can use. It's just happened. So I don't think it can significantly influence the crypto industry. There is much worst cases happening recently that is actually throwing us much more back.
And maybe it could be a good thing. I mean, it can be a step forward for interoperability, for example, because it can get us one step closer to using the same stable coin or the same exchange currency. So it can have its good parts too.
For me, the one good thing about this case is the trust. So yes, this product will not be able to grow anymore, but it was fully backed and it was fully proven. So no customers are hurting. They can still change, they can still get their fiat currency, etc. So as more the use cases we have, the more trust we earn from the regulators and from our users that crypto is really protecting the users and is back.
Definitely. And you said a very interesting thing, that it's fading, but it's fading honorably, to be honest, because the impact, it's not that great. Good. Now going back to Binance and what will happen at the start of November at Binance Week. What are the main topics? What can we expect from that? And after that, let's get a little bit into what plans does Binance have for the long term, 5 to 10 years, let's say.
Yeah. So this event is happening in Istanbul, one of the most important regional markets for us. I'm also responsible for this market. So that's going to be a very interesting event and a beautiful, nice location. So Binance Blockchain Week is for many years is one of the key events in the industry in general. And as usual, we're going to be having quite impressive keynote speakers and a lot of basically the whole community, media, regulators, KOLs, affiliates, just the standard community members from elsewhere, a lot of the parties and fun, but there's going to be like 2 days heavily focusing. I think that this event is mainly focusing on the social part of things.
Okay, so it's all about networking.
Not social between people, but how crypto is
social impact of,
how the crypto is socially positively impacts the industry, the people, everything, and it's amazing, right? In terms of the charity, in terms of interoperability, in terms of costs, in terms of the use cases, in terms of crypto adoption. So I think this will be the focus of the event. But of course, many other things like regulation, compliance, new products, new technologies. Like the most important thing, I believe, is we need to create the feeling what's next, right?
Definitely.
So there was like DeFi, NFT. Now, 2022 was the worst year for crypto. 23 was a meme coins. So what's next, right? What's happened in the 2024? So I think this will give a little bit of the flavor, what to expect and what are the future growth factors.
Yeah, it's a very important year because also we have the elections in the United States. We have we have many important things that we need to be careful with. But also, I want to talk a little bit about what Binance is doing right now, because at the end of the day, we're still in Romania. You're here for a couple of days, from what I heard from you, but what are the Binance's plans for Romania and for Europe in terms of education, first of all? Because as we talked at the beginning of our conversation, education is key, especially for the younger generation, but also for the already experimented people like you, in order to develop and in order for the community to grow.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say that from all the countries where I'm responsible, the most often I'm here in Romania. And it's not because just I like Romania and Romanians, but also because the community here is the most active. The biggest number of the events, conferences, different hearings, engagement, different new projects, etc. is amazing here in Romania. So I think it's a very bright future for the country because it's like so many things happening in the crypto here. In terms of education, it's really very, very important for us, and especially in these tough days, right? When the crypto is going through the bear cycle, which is hopefully going to be finished soon. But I believe that this is the time to educate people to really be successful in crypto. Right? It's not the time everything is growing for years, you don't need to know everything, but this is actually a good timing to educate yourself. How to become the crypto literacy, how to get the knowledge in the crypto, how to select the projects, right? How to not become the victim of the scam, how to earn, what are the risks, what are the potential of being into crypto. So that's a very important thing for us. And here our education is split in 3 pillars. So one thing is the Binance Crypto School. It's our own learning course based on the Binance Academy. When within the 4 or 5 hours of getting through this course, you can get the basic knowledge in crypto and understand whether or not you want to continue educating yourself in this in this industry, or maybe not, right? Or maybe it's enough for you, or you want to know more. So this basic course I would really encourage everyone who wants to invest in crypto or be in crypto or develop something in blockchain to get to this course first thing. So we are doing it as the couple of the video key subjects on the learn and earn basis. So as you go through this subject, you can earn some dollars by answering the questions right and get the NFT certificate in the end. So that's like a basic thing.
So there is also an incentive. That's a very important thing, because we want you to get the knowledge and be like a sponge, absorb everything. But also we're helping you. We're giving you a hand and maybe a start into crypto, because you can get some coins from here. Then you have the knowledge.
I think it's actually up to 30 USDT. you can get if you're going through the courses and answering the questions, right? And then with this knowledge, with this 30 USDT, you can start your journey to the moon.
Definitely.
Yeah, so that's one. That's our own course. We are also discussing with the government here whether or not like a more advanced crypto literacy course might be of value for all the Romanians. And it's not going to be only Binance, right? It's going to be like a joint work when we will provide the content and infrastructure, and the government will provide what's needed to educate people. That's going to be absolutely free, available online crypto course for all the Romanians. But we don't have any decision on that yet. And we are doing also a lot of efforts individually for the specific universities. So we are agreeing with the universities, and we have our team going there and doing like intro courses, what blockchain is, what Bitcoin is, for someone who have zero knowledge in this space, to just explain what's crypto, what's blockchain.
And can you give me some examples of partnerships that you have in Romania, for example?
Ilya should know the exact name of the university, but I think it's like a Romanian Economic University.
Like ASE,
Sorry,
Academy of Economic Science, right?
No, it's like a Bucharest Economic University, or
Okay.
Sorry, I don't remember the name because it's happening in Romanian by our local team. I just don't remember the name.
Okay, and
so there's going to be a series of the similar intro seminars in every university, and the people who are more interested to discover further, we will give them all these other options.
And who can get in touch with you? If I'm, let's say, an educational project or a company that's interested in education, how can I get to you, to Binance?
Well, it's quite easy. We are all, myself and the local team, we are all on the LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. If you have any ideas, it's very easy to get in touch with us.
So you're open. I mean, if I'm a project, I can maybe send you a text. We can get a call. I mean, it's not. It's open for everybody.
Of course. It's not just open. We are encouraging more engagement from the local community projects, interesting startups. We have a couple of the Romanian projects that Binance Labs, which is our M&A arm, has invested into. So yeah, we actually, please do. If anyone from our listeners has any ideas, looking forward to it.
And also, I know that you're also working as a hub, as a launchpad, as everything. You're all in one platform. But how can a project get listed on Binance, or how, because you talked earlier about risk management. How do you manage your risk when it comes to crypto projects or blockchain projects? Because we're talking here about technology as well. The token is not everything, and that's what I want everybody to be aware of. There's the financial side. Okay, you can look for X profit. That's not the best way from my point of view, but everyone can do whatever they want. But also it's the technology. So how can a project become a part of Binance if we're not talking about education, or not just education? How do you manage your risk, and how do you choose your projects?
Yeah, so we have a very strict rules about that, and there is only one way for the project to be listed or the project to be invested by the Binance Live, and it's only happening centrally. So no regional teams, no one, not advisors, partners, no one can influence this, and we don't even know how it's happening, because it's very sensitive. To exclude any influence here, we have very strict rules to that. So in order to be listed, there is only just one way: to apply for the online form for listing, and then our central team, our listing team, will contact the specific project and discuss with them the rules. I don't even know what exactly are the requirements, and the same for the M&A. That's specifically built in a way to have a proper due diligence and not have any influence. So yeah, quite a strict rules on that, and I don't know even the process.
Definitely, and it's very good that you have this strict process. Nobody can influence it, so you need to follow the steps. No matter who you are, you need to follow the steps if you want to be part of the Binance ecosystem and the Binance movement.
Yeah, so we heard that there is some scammers that, or there was one case I heard about that they said that they can help somehow the project. So no one can help in this. Is just one strict.
There are lots of fakes. There are lots of fakes and lots of scams. That's why I'm really trying to promote the educational side and the org, like do your own research and do not do it just once. Do it 100 times.
Exactly.
Look into that project and see what's going on with it. See if it's legit, because we have this kind of scams in the traditional finance as well. I mean, you know, we listed Hidroelectrica, which is the biggest energy company in Romania and one of the biggest in Europe. And you had on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere. You had announcements like, we can give you 1,000 shares for Hidroelectrica. Buy it now, you will make 100x 2 days later. We promise you 25% daily. It does not work like that. So you need to do your own research and always be in touch with what's going on in the ecosystem.
That's a part of our job, right? To educate users to not become victims of this scam. It's not related to the blockchain or to traditional finance or to stocks, as you gave the example, but we need to explain the users how to filter this information and not become the victims of this scam. Yeah, so this is one of the things we're doing.
Definitely. And now coming back to Binance partnerships, because in order for some project, it doesn't matter if it's Binance or anybody else, you need to have that community, and we need to grab each other's hands and go together and conquer the world. But besides the listing process that we as we said earlier, it's a very strict process. You can't get there by any other means but the Binance forum, so on and so forth. You have the educational side. You are open for projects that want to educate the population, and you're encouraging them to do so. But are there any other types of partnerships that companies or technology projects can get in touch with Binance and help grow the ecosystem together?
Yeah, sure. As I said, we also have the Binance blockchain, right? So basically, actually 3 different blockchains that are free code, right? And everyone can build on this. So the BNB chain, etc. We have a big team that provides support for all the projects that want to build on the BNB chain. So that's one. From the products perspective, we build our products ourselves. So we have a marketplace, right? When we provide some other financial products that you can buy on crypto for crypto. But in terms of our products, except of the fiat channels, most products we are building ourselves. A couple of the recent news, we have launched the copy trading product, when you can copy the strategy of some successful traders and basically start earning your money if you're not that experienced, right, to do it yourself. So that's having a very interesting, very big support from the community. It's like huge one. Also, we are doing a lot of the interesting collaboration with local famous companies. So, for example, here in Romania, we are partnering with Rapid Sport Club, and we are kind of the blockchain Web3 sponsor. We are trying to bring in the experience that was not here yet. So with the NFTs, with the QR codes and some crypto boxes that you can win, the interesting Bitcoin button that will be placed on the stadium, this type of stuff. So we want to bring like this digital experience, interesting experience for our fans. What else? The crypto tax tool that we have introduced.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, because it's another way for companies to get their things together and be compliant. Let's put it like this. So what can you tell us about that solution?
It's not actually for the companies, it's actually for the users, individual users, more than for corporate users. Well, it works for corporate too, but the majority really is the retail users. So basically, it gives you the ability to get all your yearly P&L by pushing one button. So it's very hard to track your profit and losses, your capital gains for 1 year, because there is a lot of trades, a lot of coins, a lot of price fluctuations. So our technical team has prepared a solution that shows you for a fixed period of time what's your capital gains, what's your crypto transactions, what's your fiat transactions, and then based on every country's tax rules, you can easily calculate your tax and not be lost in all this, big data things. Yeah. And I think it's very important for the countries that do have the crypto tax introduced, which Romania is already a part of. Yeah. So I think it will make our users' life much easier.
Definitely, because for me as well, I mean, I know something about crypto, and still it's pretty hard for me to keep track of everything, and the regulation is moving so fast. I don't know where to go, how to do it. It can be very confusing. So I'm glad to hear that
you say that you know about this, but you didn't say you pay crypto tax.
Well, let me tell you something. There are two things in life that you cannot escape. First is taxes, and then is death. And also, death doesn't get rid of the taxes.
Yes.
Not even that. But yeah, definitely, it's very important to pay the taxes. And also, I want to mention that today's podcast, it's made at Vidilo Group. Also Jasil, they're on the accounting side and on the legal side. And if Flavius was here, he's the founder of Jasil, he would have said the same thing. Don't try to escape taxes, because it's not a matter of how, but a matter of when you will be caught. So
Exactly.
Yeah, be compliant. Also, there are lots of talks about energy consumption, because we have all this ESG stuff, we have all these concerns about the climate change and how crypto is polluting or not the atmosphere. What do you think about this? What do you think about the energy consumption in crypto, and about this whole ESG stuff? Because a funny thing that I learned, you can call it an urban legend, but the facts check. BlackRock introduced ESG because it was the biggest investor in petroleum companies, in oil companies, and when everybody said, okay, but they're polluting, what can we do about this? They said, okay, we will still invest in these companies, but we will not invest in any other company that is not ESG compliant. What do you think about that, and about the impact that crypto has on energy?
Yeah, that's not my thought. It's just I stole it from CZ, our founder and CEO, but I'm a real believer in this. So if you compare the electricity consumption from the traditional finance, basically banks, and if you compare to the mining use of the electricity to mine Bitcoin, for example, it's not comparable. Traditional finance gets much more electricity. It's not direct consumption, but indirect. Imagine how many people are working for traditional finance, how many offices you have for the banks, central offices, central banks, local branches, vaults, how many cars you need to move the money from one place to another, how much it costs, how many cashiers you need, how many central banks you have, how many people are sitting in the office. So if you calculate all of that, but you will understand that the indirect electricity consumption to run this huge fiat machine for traditional finance is like much less effective than the electricity consumption to mine Bitcoin. So that would be my thought on that.
Yeah, it's still a very important matter, but also from what I know, mining Bitcoin, it's also a solution for the extra energy extra clean energy that you have in the northern countries, for example, in Sweden, in Norway, they have so much solar energy that it's more than what the system can carry. So they're using that extra energy to mine Bitcoin and actually get a bonus for the economy and use it in a profitable way, to put it like this.
That's smart.
So it's pretty amazing. Now, we talked about projects, we talked about centralized finance, we talked about a lot of things, but I want to know what do you think about CBDCs? Because everybody's talking about them. We will have the digital euro, we will have the digital dollar. What is your point on CBDCs, and do you think that this centralized system it's good enough for the needs that we have right now, or actually how can the blockchain and the state work together? How do you see that? I think that's the better question actually. How do you see the public-private sector partnership?
Yeah, so I'm very positive about CBDC, right? I don't think it will happen anytime soon, but the potential of this project is, I think it's very bright. And more or less all the central banks are evaluating this idea in the different layers of the progress. But I'm very positive because it significantly saves in terms of the costs, transparency, number of the people involved in the industry, usability, easy of use money. So it's like very good from all the perspective, right? Someone says that it's like a competition to the Bitcoin and to the private businesses working in this space, but I don't really think so. I think it's just another use case of the blockchain. And once it happens, you don't need traditional banks anymore. Central bank can directly disburse to the people. They will save on cost. There's going to be less crimes related to the fiat currency. There's going to be full transparency, more clean pollution, etc. I think it's good.
Do you think that centralized exchanges can be the bank of the future?
That's an interesting philosophical question. I don't think until the population is not changing these country approaches, until we globalized into the one country, that's possible. Because what national banks wants, what government wants to continue exclusivity in terms of operating and controlling cash and money movements within the country. So until there is different countries, unlikely that exchange will be able to be this bank.
And where do you see the world going from this point of view? Because I was thinking about the World Economic Forum motto, like you will own nothing and you will be happy. How about that? What do you think about that? And what do you think? What's the role that the blockchain and crypto maybe can play in this, and is it a good model? What do you think about that?
I'll slightly shift your question. So unfortunately, the geopolitical situation is going in the not very good direction. I think that there is a lot of the local conflicts in the different stages that can become a global conflict, unfortunately. So I think we are kind of on the edge here. But in terms of another use case of crypto, how crypto demonstrated itself to help people in need as the charity projects, as immediately transfer for specific needs. So Ukraine is an amazing example, and that's the first time ever globally it happened that within hours, not weeks or months, you can quickly get the money from all over the world without any lengthy procedures, documents, high commissions. You can quickly transfer it to the charity organizations, to a specific people, to the government for a specific needs. Super quick, free of charge, no documents, no commissions. So that's an example, amazing example how it helped, whether or not it is war or the earthquake or the flood. So that's an amazing.
So no matter the conditions, you can. Yeah, but for that, as we said earlier, you need a very strong public-private partnership, from my point of view.
No, exactly. That's not the case, right? So the traditional banks remain traditional. Government relates focusing on the big things. But when there is a problem, and there is the people and the organizations and the companies that wants to help people here and now, it's very easy. They can just send the money, send the crypto or stable coins or altcoins very quickly and very easily. So you don't need any procedures, any drivers, anyone strong who can help you do it. So that's the freedom of money, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely that's the freedom of money. But from my point of view, from my perspective, the private sector, it's innovating, and the public sector is regulating. So because the public sector is slow, usually it's slow. That's why I want to move forward to the next question. You have a lot of partnerships with governments, with public institutions all around the world. But right now, when you first came, not you but Binance as a whole, when first Binance came to Romania, you had a talk with CEE had a talk with the digitalization minister. How are things going right now, and how does the cooperation with government in Romania looks right now for Binance?
So currently we are focused on the educational projects. So we are thinking of something and bringing our expertise and the best use cases globally. How can we jointly help Romanians for the crypto literacy, for the financial literacy, these type of things. In terms of the regulation, we are not doing much right now because there is a MiCA, there is a law, it's available. So now government is working how to adapt MiCA to the local laws and regulation, who will be the regulator, how the process will work, these type of things. We are always on the standby if anything needed, but I think in terms of regulation it's okay. So mainly focusing on the educational projects.
Okay, and now one final question. If this whole ecosystem, the crypto, the blockchain ecosystem, was a cocktail, what would you get out, and what would you add in order for it to be the perfect cocktail, or at least a better cocktail than it already is?
Yeah, I think that what we all seen so far, bad actors. So bad actors really would be very beneficial for the industry and for the users to be taken out from this cocktail. And it's not the crypto's fault, right? And it's not the lack of regulation if someone is just stealing your funds and using your funds for its own purposes. Yeah, so it's like everywhere, like in the traditional finance and in crypto, there is just bad actors. And without these bad actors, the industry would be much more stronger in terms of the trust from the regulators, from the legal enforcement, from the users, from the businesses. So I think that now this lack of trust is happening that we all need to solve together and to regain this trust to the industry so that everyone understands that the businesses are accountable, regulators are applying the best framework for the business. So that would make our cocktail really more fruitful.
Well, thank you so much for all the insights. Thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure, as always. And we're watching Binance always. And for the people that are watching right now, don't forget to follow us on social media. Don't forget to leave your questions there, because we can ask our guests whatever you need and whatever you want to know. Also, don't forget to tell us who do you want to see next, because it's my pleasure to bring you the best content at Limitless, a SourceLess podcast. Have a good one.